4,000 expected tonight. That's capacity as the Eagles host the Mavericks. First place on the line in the Sun Belt Conference here on the American Sports Network. UTA's had a marvelous season. Right now, just a half-game lead over Arkansas State. Idle tonight. Georgia Southern has a chance to move into a three-way tie for first. This is a biggie in the Sun Belt Conference. Hi, folks. Doug Bell alongside Tim Scarborough. Glad you're with us tonight. Timmy, this is big for a lot of reasons. The folks here at Statesboro, they're pumped up.
They should be, because they have the top team in the conference coming into their place. And this is the last time they get to play on this floor. So you know Georgia Southern is going to be ready to play tonight.
Yeah, UTA, they're a confident bunch, and well, they should be. Back-to-back 21 seasons. Let's talk about Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside. A nice 1-2 punch.
Well, it's easy to be confident when you bring in some Top Guns. Obviously, I have to use a Top Gun reference when you have a team like the Mavericks. But Eric Neal is the real deal. Hit a game-winning 3 on Saturday. He's a big-time player that will take big shots. But perhaps the player of the conference is Kevin Hervey. This guy is an NBA prospect, 6'9", does it all. He was injured last year. Coming off the injury, he's played himself back into shape, and he is a dynamite player. He can dominate the game at both ends.
Let's talk about the Eagles. They are soaring right now thanks to a couple of guards with great names and great games.
Great names indeed, and Ike and Tookie will dominate this game. Two backcourt players. You look at their numbers, Doug. They are dynamic. They both like to get up and down the court. Ike Smith didn't get a lot of preseason accolades, but he may get the most important one, Player of the Year. He's that good.
Let's check in with Scarborough Schematics. Timmy, as this place is getting loud.
It's getting loud, and we are going to have an exciting game. UT-Arlington, Doug, will have to play in this type of environment. They need to have poise under pressure. This crowd will be loud, and Georgia Southern is going to bring it to them. And then they need to try to get points in the paint. We know what Hervey can do. It doesn't have to be back to the basket, but they need to get to the basket and get themselves some easy points. The Eagles, on the other hand, they need to play downhill, man. They need to get this thing going early and get some momentum and feed off of this crowd. And then they need to outwit, outplay, outlast. That may sound familiar to your reality show people. That's Survivor. They need to survive this game because the Mavericks will be bringing it just as hard as the Eagles tonight. This should be a great matchup.
Pretty simple scenario. If Georgia Southern can win their final home game of the season, they're in a three-way tie for first place in the Sun Belt as we check out the starting five. First for UTA, the Mavericks. We told you about Hervey and Neal, outstanding. A couple of seniors, though, are very steady. Jalen Jones and Jorge Bilbo. Watch for them to contribute this evening. And for Georgia Southern, obviously, Tukey and Ike are the main cogs of that offense, but Mike Hughes has been steady, averaging close to 12 points a game, and Monte Glenn shooting 61% from the field. So, again, a lot of offense, both teams tonight. The crowd all revved up inside the Hanner Fieldhouse. They're packed all the way up to the rafters, if you will, Tim. I mean, this seats about 3,897 or so. Not a lot of seats empty right now.
No, and that pretty much underscores the importance of this matchup. We talked about a battle for first place. Arlington desperately would love to win this game and sweep their Georgia trip. They won at Georgia State on Saturday, trailing late, but they battled back. A resilient group, Doug.
Well, the Eagles, wearing the home white, win the tip. That's Tukey Brown with a basketball, being guarded by Eric Neal. A terrific one-on-one matchup. And a quick whistle. That stepping out of bounds was Ike Smith.
But you can see Ike is going to be aggressive, as he should. Top scorer in this league with good reason. Does a lot of things, particularly going to the rim.
Looking for the money man, Kevin Hervey. He does it all. Outstanding prospect. Just a junior that was in and out for Charles. And here come the Eagles.
Charles is a hired gun. He is a sniper from downtown. Look for him to pull the trigger when given the
B.J. Gladden trying to set that screen. Tukey Brown lost it out of bounds. Two quick turnovers for Georgia Southern.
It looked to me from our angle that Neal knocked that away from behind, but the officials saw it differently. So already 2 turnovers for Georgia Southern.
There's Mark Byington, 4th year at Georgia Southern, has done a remarkable job here. Not only on the floor, but off the floor. You can feel the excitement in the gymnasium tonight. A lot of folks talking about Eagles basketball in Statesboro. They've had a lot of success on the football field. Knocking it down, the big man, Kevin Hervey.
Kevin Hervey showing you why he's considered the top player in this league, preseason player of the year. He's operating on the outside, but don't forget about that inside. He'll take it to the hole.
Ike Smith looking for his first shot tonight.
Georgia Southern's looking for their first shot. They have yet to pull the trigger.
Tukey right out there close to the line. Gladden takes the long shot. He gets fouled going up. He will shoot 3. That foul on Jalen Jones.
B.J. Gladden is only a 20% three-point shooter, so there's definitely no need to contest him as hard as you would one of the better shooters, but nonetheless, over-aggressive, and it cost Arlington 3 free throws right here.
Gladden is a junior from Charlotte. As you can see, he's put together quite nicely. Those big shoulders, really a defensive-minded player.
He's a guy that plays on the rim as well.
There's Scott Cross. Scott Cross is UTA basketball, played there, was an assistant coach there, now in his 11th year as the head coach. Really has found a home at UT-Arlington in this modern day where coaches have success and move on and move around. Scott Cross is the antithesis of that. He's found a home and loves it there in Arlington.
He's done a solid job the last 2 years. First time in school history, back-to-back 20-win seasons. UTA already with 20 wins on the season. We're just on February 20th.
See the double team on Hervey. Looking for Hervey inside, and that got tipped, so the Mavs will keep it with 13 on the shot clock.
Already, Doug, a couple of close calls have gone against Georgia Southern, and this crowd doesn't like it.
And the steal in the inbounds. Here come the Eagles.
Transition defense will be important. But even though they got back, they didn't get messed up, and Tukey takes advantage.
A lot of offensive weapons for both teams. Again, the top of the Sun Belt Conference is really an exciting half, and that was Ike Smith 2 in a row, and now the crowd definitely into it. First shot, that goes down for Eric Neal, who hit that buzzer beater to win at Georgia State Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, that kid is unafraid of the moment, and he's certainly unafraid to take big shots, and he's knocking them down, silencing this crowd momentarily.
Ike Smith says, let's make it 3 in a row, and he does just that.
Oh my goodness. Do it to him, Ike. 41% from downtown. That's going to go up if he keeps doing like that. Big time player.
From way outside, that was Neal with a miss. Again, Gladden gets that rebound and then lost it out of bounds. No, it was last touched by the Mavericks, so it'll be Georgia Southern basketball with 25 on the shot clock.
Transition defense is so important. But you can see, even when the Mavericks are back, the Eagles are forcing the issue. Smith that time almost got to the rim again.
Tukey's first shot of the night comes up a little short on that one. Kevin Hervey, his second shot, and almost got the bounce, but there's the offensive rebound by Neal. Charles, his second shot, big miss.
Charles is jacked up right now, man. He has the adrenaline flowing. That shot wasn't close.
Again, the Eagles, a perimeter-oriented attack. That's Mike Hughes holding the basketball. Looking inside, Corey Simmons. UTA 20-6 overall, 10-3 in the Sun Belt at first, and oh, the miss gimme. Hervey gets his own rebound and gets it to go down.
Well, it's nice when you're good enough to clean up your own gaff because he missed a bunny, but able to run it down and put it back in the bucket.
Tukey Brown.
Dangerous pass right
it
there.
Sure was.
You never want to float the ball against a good defensive team.
Ike Smith missed that one. And that's 0 for 3 from Charles, but Hervey got the rebound, missed it, and laying it down is Jalen Jones.
Right now, Charles just needs to relax a little bit and let it flow. He is a much better shooter than what we're seeing. 41% on the season. He's knocked down 52 threes. That's what he does.
Brown slashing in there now. He averages 18 points, has yet to score tonight. We played almost 6 minutes. Hervey can shoot that three. Passed up that look. Shot clock, plenty of time, 15. Long one from Jalen Jones, knocking it down.
You know, UTA is so patient. They are not going to take a bad shot. Now, their coach talked to us a little bit at shoot-around today about some of the shot selection, but when they play like this, they are very difficult to beat because they have guys who can make shots late and create shots, but when they share the ball, they're just so good.
That's Tukey.
And Tukey just took him to the hoopy.
Again, we talked about that one-on-one matchup, Neal against Brown.
Yeah, watch that one all night because you better be able to guard the dribble because these kids will wax you. Now a turnover, they got numbers.
Ike Smith takes 2 big steps. Yes, count it. That foul goes against Jalen Jones. Well, let's catch our breath. Check out Ike Smith leading the charge for the Eagles, and we're all tied up in Statesboro. That outstanding guard combo with Tukey Brown, but so far it has been the Ike show, Timmy. He's been really good to start out.
Yeah, Tukey Brown has yet to get it going, but Ike Smith has dominated this game in the early going. Before the media timeout, 10 of the 13 points already. And you can see he's done it in a variety of ways. The pull-up three from downtown in transition. Then he can jab step you and pull the trigger again. Silky smooth on the perimeter, but this is where he's special. In transition and the dexterity, the smooch off the glass. You never forget your first kiss. He got his first kiss of the night.
Wow. I don't know what to say. Ike is such a good-looking player. He's a sophomore from Gainesville, Florida.
How scary is that, though? Tukey and Ike are both just sophomore. Wow.
Monte Glenn, also a sophomore. He's a young Georgia Southern basketball team. UTA, a veteran bunch.
They are, and they're battle-tested. They've gone on the road. They've gotten quality wins, including at number 12, St. Mary's earlier this season. They are the real deal.
Osmiller, his first foul. Just checked in during that timeout. Again, Gladden got the start. Osmiller, another one of those guys who Shoots 43% from three-point range, so a lot of weapons on the court offensively for the Eagles. Julian Harris is checked in for the Mavs, just set a big screen, and I think he got called for the foul. No, that foul was on
Hughes.
Mike Hughes.
And Hughes is the third head of that three-headed monster, the three-headed backcourt that scores a lot of points for the Eagles. So they don't want him to pick it up. As you see, Mark Byington, his fourth season here.
Neal and Hervey play that little give-and-go game. And knocking it down is Jalen Jones.
They are making the right basketball play. Hervey saw the double, saw where it was coming from. A nice skip to a standstill shooter. Jones knocks it down from downtown. He's got 8.
Boy, that's a pretty shot from Mike Hughes.
Okay. We got a shootout right now, and that's not because of defense. Both these teams are playing exceptional defense, but it tells you when you have these types of scores, these guys can go get you a good look.
Oh, that was pretty.
Beautiful.
Taylor Wilson scored. That was that high post handoff play. John Wooden is smiling watching that. Wow, that was old school right there.
It really was executed to perfection. Bill Walton made a living off of that type of basketball. So did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That takes me back to the high school days. We did that during warm-ups. Look at that.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes when you're fundamentally sound, you can go old school. And that time, Wilson able to get all the way to the rack.
UTA on top of Georgia Southern by 1. This is going to be a fun night in Statesboro. First place on the line in the Sun Belt Conference. The Mavericks at 10-3. Georgia Southern 10-4. Doug Bell with Tim Scarborough. Again, the cozy confines of Hanner Fieldhouse. They put the chairback seats in, the big scoreboards. This place is fun. Oh, check that out. And the tip by Monte Glenn.
Wow. The pace of this game is frenetic right now, and both teams are used to playing this way, so we'll see it continue. Both these teams are solid defensive teams, but right now we're seeing good offense overmatching good defense.
A terrific ball movement by UTA. This is an outstanding basketball team led by Kevin Hervey.
Are you kidding me? Now that one I wouldn't call a great shot selection, but when you're Kevin Hervey, you can splash it down with 2 guys standing behind the line with you.
8 points, 5 rebounds early for the big man. Smith from the corner, knocking it down, looking at the fans in the seats. What that look like? I got this.
That look says it all right there. Supreme confidence in his skill set.
14 points for Ike Smith. Should be a 2 as Phil's on the line, but another rebound and putback. That wouldn't go down.
Wow. Those are the types of plays when you're point blank, you look back at the end of the game and you want a basket here or a basket there. Could be the difference. Don't like to see that if you're a UTA fan.
Oh, and that gets thrown out of bounds. 5 turnovers now for Georgia Southern.
Can't knock the hustle though. But take a look. This is a good amount of resistance. The double team backed away, and Hervey took advantage. But then watch Ike, give him a little bit of a jab step, and that's all it took to free up that shooting hand, and he knocks it down. You can tell he's feeling it from the perimeter right now.
Well, I like these Georgia Southern uniforms. They kind of remind me of the old Marquette uniforms with Al McGuire.
The old Al McGuire Marquette uniforms, but those had like a brighter yellow kind of a.
But these are good. I like these. Again, Mark Byington, 40 years old in his 4th year at Georgia Southern.
So he's 40, so he doesn't remember any of the stuff we're talking about.
Absolutely not.
Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and at UCLA. I mean, man, we're taking it back.
We're old school, man.
We're old school, no doubt.
Nothing wrong with that.
Maybe we could squeeze in a George Mikan reference before the night is over.
No. We don't go back that far. And the steal. That's Tukey.
Look out.
Oh, they love it. They love it in Statesboro. Tukey Brown.
Tukey's on the loose. This crowd is loving it.
What a fun, fast-paced game so far. And that does go down. Wow. Faith Pope, senior, off the bench.
That was a tough shot.
Pope, a guy who plays about 12 minutes. Very solid off the bench for the Mavs. Tukey Brown. That was a tough shot. Kalen Wilson all by himself. An offensive foul called on Wilson. No basket.
But even on that, Doug, the defense is back and they are set. And Wilson almost scored on two guys. Take a look at this. I mean, these guys are back. Let's see if they get in position. And yeah, that's an easy one for the officials right there. Great job of getting the puppy set by Georgia Southern.
Yeah, first foul on Wilson. 16 fouls now for UTA. And that was blocked again by Faith Pope. Right back to Georgia Southern. Boy, a good battle going on inside.
Very well played game here early. Not a lot of fouls.
Whoa. How about Faith Pope? That was quick.
Right now, the Mavericks have a little faith in Pope. Woo. They are giving it to him, and he is giving it to the Eagles right now. A couple of baskets off the bench. Spark plug.
It's DJ Bryant trying to guard Tukey Brown. And here come the Mavs. One and done, Wilson. There's Bryant, the freshman.
They had numbers there. That's a great recovery. They had a 3-on-1 at one point, but a great job of matriculating back and discouraging the layup.
And four starters getting some rest now for UTA. Oh, the big man. That's Bilbo pulling his way in there. Count it, and a chance for a three-point play. Well, this is so much fun. The Mavs lead by 3. Check out the big guy. Strong to the hoop. UTA on top of Georgia Southern by 3. Exciting times for the Sun Belt Conference. The postseason championship March 8th through the 12th at Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. How much fun is that going to be, Timmy?
They had some good basketball there just this weekend with the All-Star
Yes.
game. But there's going to be a lot more in mid-March. Sun Belt Tournament. Both these teams will play a significant role in that. It should be exciting. Top 4 teams in this league, 12 teams, 4 get a bye into the quarterfinals. So it's important for both these teams to try to stay in that top tier. Easier to get to the tournament when you don't have to win 3 games as opposed to 4.
Eric Neal back in now for the Mavericks. And remember, right before the break, Jorge Bilbo went in, scored, and got fouled. Crowd making some noise. Bilbo misses that. It's a 6-0 run now for the Mavericks.
Spearheaded by Faith Pope off the bench, giving him a nice lift. Bilbao with that last bucket.
Mike Smith. He got a little break. Now he's right back at it, leading the charge. He has 16.
And he's so casual. Just dribble, drive, pull up, 10-footer. He just makes it look easy.
Again, this atmosphere, the crowd is right up on the edge of the court. All 4 sides. Now, how about Bilbo? He is solid. 6'9", 245. He spends a little time in the weight room.
And O'Connell felt the wrath of Bilbao right there. He lowered the shoulder, and O'Connell just got trucked. No call.
Jorge got a little cut above the eye. You don't even see it. That happened last Saturday. Has the KT tape on that right shoulder.
He ended up with 5 stitches in that Georgia State game late.
Yeah, he didn't see that pass. Neal got caught up in no man's land. Tukey Brown taking it coast to coast.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, baby. He gets fouled. Woo.
Tukey Brown is what I call a BMW. He's the ultimate driving machine right now. Look at this. In transition, picks up the loose change, and then he takes it to the rack, coast to coast, in traffic. I mean, the defense is back, but no match. Mismatch, in fact, in favor of Brown. Big-time shot in traffic.
That's what he did previously against UTA. This will be his 7th point of the night. Tukey averages 18. Second in the Sun Belt in scoring behind his teammate, Ike Smith.
How about that, right? You average 18 and you're not even leading your team. Dynamic duo indeed. One of the top scoring backcourts in the nation.
Hervey on the bench, just getting some rest.
Now they've gone zone too. Let's see how Arlington can take advantage.
Whoa! How on
shot.
earth did Bilbo get that up and off the glass? Oh,
He's made a couple of nice buckets and under duress too. I mean, fighting off the physicality of the Eagles.
he's a young man who averages about 9 points and 7 boards. And that'll stay the way of the Eagles.
And against the zone, they trapped out of it, and Bilbao was left on the post. Not the prettiest, not the most aesthetic shot, but 2 points still counts for 2 points.
He knew what he was doing.
That was a line drive off the glass.
That was a quickie. That was partially blocked.
Oh, that's
Nathan Hawkins got his hand on it. It'll be Eagles basketball.
Gary Maxwell, lead official all over it. And wow, Doug, I am impressed with the atmosphere in this building. Obviously, they know how important the game is, but this team, the Eagles, are entertaining. Woo!
Offensive foul called on Hughes.
Hughes tried to draw a foul on Charles, and the referees flipped the script on him.
Hervey back in for UTA. Hughes will leave with 2 fouls, and back in for the Eagles will be Devontae Boykins. There's Hervey. UTA winning in the rebounding department, Timmy, 15-8. And I know you were talking about that. That was a big key for Georgia Southern.
It's a little surprising, but you know what? Georgia Southern is shooting a high percentage, so there haven't been a lot of offensive rebounds even available to them. But they have gotten a couple of stickbacks, the Mavericks, so the Eagles will have to try to clean that up.
Neal back iron. B.J. Gladden. Boy, he is long and off the glass he goes.
I mean, I'm just amazed at the opportunities that they create in transition when they're not even really there. 2 defenders again are back. And you know what? They may want to think about, Coach Cross may want to think about sending 3 or even 4 back, but it will sacrifice at the offensive glass end. But it's an adjustment they may have to make if this keeps happening.
Neal passed up the 3. Why not? Bilbao inside with the left hand, but there's Hervey. And Bilbao another rebound. Hervey again.
Look at this.
How about that, Timmy Scarborough?
Man.
Woo!
That was the epitome of shoot it until you make it. The Eagles, Georgia Southern just couldn't corral that rebound, and you don't get the closeout. As you see, the offensive rebounds now 9-4 in favor of UTA.
That leads to second chance points. Gladden has been superb tonight, and that is out of bounds off UTA.
Gladden lost that one going to the rack. But the resistance that he met at the basket may have something to do with it.
Back in for UTA's Julian Harris.
Placing Bilbao. But you look at Hervey and that giant knee brace he's got on his left knee. He went out after back in, I believe, January of last year for the season. Got hurt in warm-ups, and Brown shoots that one just before the time runs out. And you know what? In the beginning of this year, they were only playing on 15 to 18 minutes a game just to try to get him back in the playing shape. But now he's back.
That's gorgeous. Julian Harris wide open. Neal set him up.
Nice delivery, and Neal is a terrific point guard in terms of delivering the package.
One more look at this, Tim. Wow, that's just beautiful basketball.
Pick and roll ran to perfection. The dive, nobody picks him up. The package delivered to the doorstep.
University, Doug Bell alongside Tim Scarborough here in the American Sports Network. First place on the line in the Sun Belt Conference. And the Mavs flexing those muscles, Timmy.
And you know what? We talked about them in the Scarborough schematics needing to get points in the paint, and they have done that. 13-3 in favor of the Mavericks, and we're just, still 3:42 to play in the first half.
Wide open in the corner and knocking it down. The lefty, Devontae Boykins.
This team has so many weapons. Boykins, that's a big shot for him, just 26% from downtown.
Hervey, he is so effective in the paint or outside.
And more importantly, the timing of his shots. He can sense the moment when this crowd gets going. You notice every time Hervey or Neal step up and knock down a big bucket for them.
Hervey has 12 points.
Nice.
Oh, good look, just couldn't deliver B.J. Gladden. And Gladden only a 21% shooter from behind the stripe.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily his game. He's more of a slasher. We've seen him. He's strong inside.
He knows that, though. He doesn't shoot it a lot, but he certainly had to take that one after the great pass. But he didn't expect to airball it, though.
Neal, they keep looking for Hervey. Charles hasn't made one yet tonight.
He's now 0 for 4 from downtown. Doesn't take many two-point shots. He's a hired sniper, but so far he's missing the target. Now a jump ball.
Arrow goes the way of UTA. There's Scott Cross, who doesn't get off the bench much, but when he does, he's delivering a message either to his player or the official.
Scott Cross has been, as you talked about, a career Arlington guy. Played at UT-Arlington, was an assistant coach for 8 years, and now the head coach for their last 11.
Hervey, almost an acrobatic shot, would not go down. Under 2 minutes to play.
We got a couple of terrific coaches here tonight, too, young coaches.
Again, UTA doing a nice job getting out on Tukey. Shot clock at 10, still plenty of time. Smith's feeling it. Oh, baby, what a night this kid is having. 19 points for Ike.
The heat that must be emanating from his hands right now is unbelievable. I mean, he is feeling it. But despite that performance, Arlington has given them everything they wanted here in their own gym.
And a steal. And the foul on Charles.
Smart foul. And right now, Ike Smith, he's a guy that can go get you a shot late in the possession, but he's just catching it and letting it fly, baby. And he's stroking it from downtown right now. Look at those numbers. He's got his season average already, 7 of 10 from the field. He hasn't missed much.
Again, first in the Sun Belt in scoring average. Hervey is averaging more than 20 points a game in Sun Belt play for the season. He's just under 17. And that gets knocked out of bounds, and the Eagles will keep it with 20 on the shot clock.
Smith is 4 for 4 from 3 as well. He hasn't missed one from behind the arc.
Bilbao checks back in. He and Julian Harris make A nice little combo at the 4 spot.
Pope gave him solid minutes as well.
Oh, Ike from the corner, and here comes UTA. Under a minute to play. We're all tied up.
Hervey is a little shaken up, slow to get across half court. I don't know if he's winded or that knee is bothering him.
I don't think there's a better atmosphere in college basketball anywhere tonight. I think we have the game of the night, Tim.
This is certainly at the mid-major level. This is a great matchup between two well-coached teams that are playing well.
Charles now 0 for 5. Tough shooting night for Drew Charles, the senior. He's a grad student, actually in his 5th year of college.
And if
crowd on their feet, Tim.
If they get a bucket here, this place is going to erupt.
Tukey being guarded by Eric Neal.
Nice
Bilbao comes out for the double. Gladden buries it. Oh, baby, that's good. BJ. Man from Gladden delivers.
When we talked about this place erupting, I didn't think we'd get a buzzer beater, but Gladden able to knock it down from deep and sending his team into the locker room with the lead.
Woo! 40-37. Georgia Southern at home. We'll go to our studio show next from the American Sports Network down in West Palm. Oh, baby. What a game in Statesboro. The Eagles will get the ball to start the second half. They lead by 3 thanks to that last second shot by BJ Gladden. He was about 30 feet away and knocked it down. Gladden is out there by the Eagle at midcourt. And he was terrific, especially defensively. Came up with several key steals.
He was kind of an unusual suspect in terms of knocking down that shot. Just a 20% three-point shooter. Shot that desperation 3. And again, in a game this close, every play matters. So we'll see how that plays out down the stretch.
Tukey Brown had 7 in that first half. Losing his footing was Ike Smith, where Smith was the bell cow at 19, now 21. And he'll go to the line for one more.
Crazy thing about that, Doug, is everybody in the gym, they gave the play away. They knew they were going to him, but he slipped the first time. But they throw it right back to Smith on the block, showing you his versatility, able to score in traffic and get the and one. Great job of going to the hot hand to start the second half. And now a whistle underneath the goal.
That foul goes against Coy Simmons.
Pretty clean first half, too, in terms of fouls. Really, neither team has players in foul trouble.
Simmons getting a little more playing time tonight because he's a big guy at 6'8", 235, and UTA is a bigger team than Georgia Southern. Bilbao was effective in that first half, just missed that one.
He got fouled on that one, too. And he was saying it to the officials as he was running back on defense. But nonetheless, we play on.
Way outside and knocking it down, getting knocked on his backside is Mike Hughes, but he gets right up. Charles was 0 for 5 now. His first make of the night, 1 for 6.
He had to know Charles was going to find the mark, and he did a great job of getting down to that corner in transition and spotting up. And finally, that was his first really clean look. He's able to capitalize.
And if you're just joining us again, UTA 10-3 in the Sun Belt. Georgia Southern 10-4. This is their last home game of the season. Tukey Brown, that's too easy.
Well, he makes it look easy, but he split that double team. That is not easy to do.
Jones gave it up. Hervey, pretty stroke by the big guy.
I tell you what, Doug, we're seeing a high-level basketball game being played right now. This is execution.
Arkansas State is idle tonight.
You know they're watching.
Yeah, they are 10-4 as well. An Eagles victory. 3 teams 10-4 atop the Sun Belt. Ike Smith, 23 points now.
That was a little combination defense right there just to kind of break the flow of their offense, but it didn't matter.
The lob to Hervey. He is so versatile. Look at that.
Beautiful.
And gets his own tip. Oh, baby.
You cannot underestimate the read on that play. He saw the double team. He saw where it was coming from. He faked like he was going to turn into it, and he froze him. He turned right to the open part of the basket for an easy shot. I mean, that is something that was instinctive right there.
Hervey, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Hughes, back to Gladden, right at the buzzer. Eric Neal has been quiet.
Well, he's a guy who kind of gets it going. Of course, he can score, but he's better at giving the ball to other people. A great assist man, 173 on the year.
That foul called against Ike Smith on the hold, his first foul.
Take a look at this, Doug. You see him turn like he was going to go into the double team, and then he turned back into the middle because that's where the shot was. Threw it up there just so he could go clean it up. That was on purpose.
Just a junior, Kevin Hervey, 6'9", 230 pounds.
And there's just not too many guys in this league that can handle him on a nightly basis.
Bilbao just pulls his way in, and that's a tie-up that'll stay the way of UTA. Excellent defense by Sean O'Connell.
It really was. He stood his ground. Take a look. Bilbao tried to bully him, quite frankly, but he held his cylinder. He was allowed to go straight up, and that's what he did. He got his hands on the ball.
How about Eric Neal? String music from the corner. Back to a one-point game.
Good coaches know how to draw it up, inbounds underneath to get good shots, and we saw that on display right there. Great job by Coach Crum.
Boykins, the southpaw. Wow. This is getting good.
And if the Sun Belt tournament is anything like this, I may have to take a trip to New Orleans in the postseason.
This is terrific. Capacity crowd at Henner Fieldhouse. Just under 3,900, and these seats are all close to the floor. Neal, one more time.
Why
yes.
Not? Why not? As John Cook, our producer director, says, smoke them if you got them.
Hughes thought about it. Ike looking for a little help. And Hervey got his hand on that one. And a push on Bilbao.
Doug, we got an old-fashioned shootout. It's splash down for downtown for Neal, but not to be outdone. The Eagles say, take that, Boykins.
Arlington in first place, just a half-game lead on Georgia Southern and Arkansas State. So first place in the Sun Belt on the line. Timmy, the Mavs have won 4 straight. The Eagles have put together a nice little run here at home.
They are tough on this floor. 9 straight wins at home. But the Mavericks of UTA have won 8 of their last 9 ball games as well, including a 4-game winning streak. And again, on Saturday at Georgia State, they were down 7 with 1:46 and came back and won that game in regulation thanks to a huge shot by Neal at the buzzer.
Tukey being guarded by Neal, and then Neal gets called for the foul. Second foul on Eric Neal.
Tukey Brown has just 3 assists on the night and 9 points, so he hasn't really gotten into the action. But the rest of his team, I mean, they're shooting 71% this half, 52.6 for the game. And really nobody in foul trouble. Again, just a well-played game at both ends by both teams.
Shot clock now single digits. Boykins, he got held up trying to drive. That was Jake. Check that, Jalen Jones got his hands on him. 2 fouls on Jones.
And that was a pretty solid defensive possession for Scott Cross's team, but that right there, you just can't put your hands on a guy on the perimeter, especially a dribble driver.
Allsmiller, that's his game.
And from the angle we're sitting at, we knew that was good when it left his hands. A smooth stroke from downtown.
Shooting 43% from three-point range. Jake Allsmiller. Hervey went up and got fouled. Monte Glenn got him with a body from behind.
Allsmiller shooting 43% from downtown. He's knocked down 65 of his 68 shots that he's made have come from downtown. So you know what he's in there to do. A sniper indeed.
Hervey makes his first free throw tonight. And now he has 18 points to lead UTA. Kalen Wilson back in for the Mavs, along with Nathan Hawkins.
You know, I'm not around this league a lot, but when I am, I usually get good games like this. And I have to tell you, if these guys, I think the player of the year has to be in this building, don't you? I mean, Hervey,
yeah,
or Smith, or Brown. I mean, there's a lot of good players in this league, don't get me wrong, but these guys are special.
Hervey was the preseason Sun Belt Player of the Year selection, and he'll get a breather now. Faith Pope, who was so good off the bench in the first half, comes in. And the Mavs a chance to tie or maybe take the lead. There's a steal.
Picked him.
Uh-oh, that was a double dribble.
Yeah. Gary Maxwell called that. I thought he might let him go. He definitely double dribbled that thing.
There was a restart on that one, Tim.
So he's Boykins right there. I think he's a college player, but that looks like a middle school play right there, huh? I know I did that a few times in middle school. Oh, we're not allowed to do that? That's frowned upon? Oh, we can't do it. I get it. You live and learn, you know.
Sure. That's a big-time screen set by Julian Harris. And another foul called on Glenn. 2 fouls on Monte. Again, Glenn is the big body, the big postman for the Eagles, 6'8", 230.
Yeah. He's just a sophomore as well. He started 20 of 27 games this season. 60% shooter in his own right. Most of his are close to the basket.
Neal given to Harris, and he got bumped going up. That foul on Allsmiller, and that draws some boos from the crowd. 3 fouls on Allsmiller.
And Allsmiller was set. The problem is he crowded. He broke the cylinder of Harris, and that's why he didn't allow Harris to even catch the ball and land and have his own space. But it was a good job of being set, but he was in the wrong place.
Good looking stroke by Harris. As you might expect, this UTA roster dominated by Texas kids. There's such a wealth of talent in that huge state.
Especially in that Dallas-Fort Worth area, too, huh?
Yeah, the Metroplex is just oozing with great players.
Houston as well.
And that's a turnover. Oh, no.
He's saying Hawkins was out of bounds when he touched it.
Okay. Little entanglement right in front of the table where we're sitting, Tim, and the crowd is right behind us. In fact, even if you're in the upper deck here, you are close to the court.
That's very true. Not a bad seat in this one. And this is an amazing game considering the momentum that Georgia State has had, which continues at the offensive end. But give the Mavericks a lot of credit. It's the reason they're in first place coming into this game. They are battle-tested, and they have not given an inch tonight.
And UTA looking to stop a drought. They haven't scored a field goal in about 2.5 and counting. And Hervey on the bench just getting a little breather. Miller got that rebound. Now keep in mind, Boykins has quietly had a nice game. He has 3 from behind the arc. Hit that last one, and he's kind of towing the line over there in the corner. Here he is again.
He wants a heat check. Let's see if they give him one.
And a travel.
They would have let him get away with that yesterday in the All-Star game.
Boy, they got away with a lot in that game, didn't they?
Yes.
So back in is B.J. Gladden and Sean O'Connell back in. Allsmiller get a breather, working hard out there. Boykins, by the way, 9 points, a season high for him. So he has quietly been a star for Georgia Southern tonight. And another steal. Defensively, Eagles have been outstanding, led by this guy, Gladden.
Oh, he lost it again.
Tough shot.
Now the other way.
Look at Neal. He is quick. Behind the back. Why not? There's O'Connell getting the rebound and the foul on Julian Harris. Well, both teams need the oxygen tanks right now, Tim. This has been fun. Check out Boykins.
Boykins has found the mark from downtown, and he's saying, let's check the heat on my hands. I'm hot, baby.
Well, Tim Scarborough here on the American Sports Network. Eagles lead at 58-55. You saw in the huddle there Ike Smith, who leads the Sun Belt in scoring. Not disappointing tonight with 23. Tukey is second. Just getting started, you might say, and Hervey holding his own.
And Hervey is carrying the load offensively for UT-Arlington. But Ike Smith has been sensational. 19 points in the first half. They went to him early in the second half, but lately it's been Boykins and others who have stepped up and carried the load. But you wonder, with 11:35, they already have 58 points. How many points is it going to take to win this game? Because the Mavericks are coming.
Hervey still on the bench. Usually gets a rest this point of every half. Sits for about 4.5 minutes, just to kind of recharge the batteries.
And these are two of the top scoring teams in the conference, so they're right on pace. 78 points a game for UTA and Georgia State. Georgia Southern, I should say.
And the steal. Neal all by himself.
Not really.
Oh, boy.
What a recovery.
Boy, defensively, they got back quickly.
Wow.
It'll be Georgia Southern basketball. How about that?
You're right, Doug. I mean, he was by himself. All of a sudden, 2 guys just got beamed up by Scotty. That was amazing.
Boy, he kind of held up. I think if he had just kept pushing it.
Yeah, maybe he throttled it down a little bit, but that was a great recovery. Again, 2 points that should have happened that did not happen. Is the Star Trek reference too old?
I like it. No, I like it.
Google it, kids.
That's good stuff. Uh-oh, looking inside. They got batted away. 8 on the shot clock.
I'm giving it all she's got. I can't take much more, Captain.
And Alsmiller back in now for the Eagles. Kevin Hervey is down by the water cooler, just standing up, getting loose.
Think he'll get back in?
Yeah. Again, the shot clock now at 5 and 4. Tukey has it.
Oh, he shouldn't have gave that up. I don't think he realized it.
That got blocked and a shot clock violation.
He put his teammate in jail that time. With 3 seconds left, you can't pass. The ball is in your hands. You got to put it up. But
I think Tukey lost track of the
he was unaware of the
clock.
clock. That's what I was going to say. He's just a sophomore, but he's an experienced sophomore, so he should know.
Georgia Southern with that 3-point lead, but they've had 4 turnovers in their last 3.5 minutes. So a little sloppy on the offensive end. Neal busts through. Wow. He made up for it, didn't he? Missed that last one. And now it's a 1-point game. And a near steal.
And that's where Georgia
there's the steal.
The pressure got to Georgia State down the stretch late. Here's a
lob. Oh, yes. Faith Pope.
Faith Pope got some charity from his teammate right there.
Back on top. First lead of the second half for the Mavericks. In first place by a half game. Trying to complete this Georgia road swing. Georgia State, Georgia Southern, which is a difficult one in the Sun Belt.
You know, the pressure got to Georgia State that we talked about earlier. Here's the deflection, and then the turnover. We're going the other way. Watch the delivery. And Pope kind of bobbled it, but he was able to finish. And acknowledging the pass from Wilson.
Pope has 6 points off the bench. It's interesting, both teams with 10 turnovers. Hughes pulls up for 3. That would have broken a drought of about 3 minutes, and it'll be UTA basketball. Wait a minute. The officials are getting together. All right, they say it is the Eagles basketball, and we have...
I think that's the right call, though.
Coming up limping a bit, yeah. Is Julian Harris, was holding that ankle.
And this is kind of their pressure team, too, the group that they have on the floor. But Harris is going to try to walk that off and stay in the game, but they're not going to let him.
Now, Tim Hervey is not coming back into the game. He's on the end of the bench rubbing that left knee.
Yeah.
That is the injured knee that he suffered that injury a year ago.
It is. And
so he is not re-entering the game, so we will check that injury.
You know, it may be a situation where he's experiencing some soreness or maybe some pain. And now, look at it, he took a seat. The trainer, he only have one trainer. He's got his hands full right now.
So Bilbao, you see him there, 45 in the low block. So you have Julian Harris, who just left with the twisted ankles, taking off his shoe. Hervey had been rubbing his left knee and standing for most of this time out.
You know, the interesting thing is with Hervey, you think, okay, we have a little bit left in this season. The more important games are going to be in March in 2 weeks. So do you want to risk him for the long term for this short-term opportunity? So it's it's obviously it's going to be up to the trainer, and it looks like they're looking at an ankle there for Harris right now. But this is an interesting development, to say the least.
So now the Eagles are back up by 1. Neal is also on the bench getting some rest. He is not injured. Look inside to Bilbao. Wow.
Man, that's
he is tough, isn't he?
Yeah, you know, he got the position. He did all the work. He got his position, got his man pinned, and he buried him. He got the ball 1 foot from the basket, and a great delivery as well.
And that foul whistled on DJ Bryant. Bryant is a freshman from Sarasota, Florida, and gets some key minutes every game. He obviously is the future of this UTA team.
Yeah, he's playing about 9 minutes a game. He's got a couple of starts, but again, a diminutive guard, not unlike Neal, who's on the bench right now, but set to come back in.
Now Hervey is walking down to the coaching staff, and he's taking a seat now next to the staff.
Which means he's probably on the shelf available to be inserted back into the game. We'll see.
Pope off the bench has been tough, missed that one.
Well, he's going to hear it now, though.
Ike Smith has been quiet, had a huge first half, scored early in the second half, and has come up a little cold here in the last 6 minutes. Pope, that gets blocked, gets his ball back, and the tie-up arrow goes the way of Georgia Southern. Neal coming back in, and here comes Hervey.
And this has been a tough couple of possessions for Pope. Got his shot blocked after shooting the air ball, and he'll go have a seat. But more importantly, Hervey is back in the game looking agile. That's a great sign. You hate to see a guy, you really hate to see any kid get injured, but you hate to see a guy of his caliber not be available, especially in a game this tight with so much on the line.
He sat for close to 7 minutes, Tim.
But his team is still in it.
Boykins has been tough. That's 4 3-pointers. New season high for Boykins, 12 points.
When you have a good team that's well coached, you just never know who's going to hurt you on a given night. Devontae Boykins, 26% from downtown coming in, but you wouldn't know it the way he's letting it fly right now.
So we'll go to break. That foul was on Boykins. This shot was Boykins from the corner. It's going to be a terrific final 7:57. 61, just under 8 minutes to play here in Statesboro as we check the scoreboard from the Sun Belt Conference. Troy on top of App State. Georgia State trying to snap a 3-game skid in the Sun Belt, and South Alabama leads Coastal. Big for Texas State and Georgia State, Tim. Again, you mentioned it, those top 4 seeds get the bye in the Sun Belt Championship in New Orleans.
Yep.
So that's a big one tonight between Georgia State and Texas State.
That's a big one because Arkansas State is near the top. They're not playing tonight, but Georgia State is right now in that 4th spot at 9-5. Texas State is 8-5. As you see the standings there. So there's a half game separating those two teams. So all these games right now are pivotal, and this is a moment where somebody can really kind of pull away, especially in this game. If UTA can hold on and get this road win, they'll give themselves some breathing room. But Georgia Southern has been tough tonight, especially on the offensive end. Been dynamite.
Hervey back in there, hopefully for the duration if you're a Mavericks fan. Neal also back in. Bilbao up and under. He is just so good with that up and under move.
That was left-handed as well in traffic. He does a great job of getting it up on the glass.
Tukey Brown comes up a little short on that. Bilbao another rebound. 10 points for Bilbao, all in the paint. There he is with the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, with the left hand. He's good with both hands. Scored the last 3 buckets with the left hand.
He's a senior from Spain, and he's playing like a senior tonight, just playing like a grown man. They're getting it to him, and he is cashing it in.
Caught that elbow above the left eye. 5 stitches against Georgia State on Saturday off the glass. Ike Smith, let's not forget about the leading scorer in the Sun Belt, 25 points.
And what a luxury when you need a bucket, you just run ISO for Smith, and he can get all the way to the rack. He'll shoot the mid-range, or he may just stick it in your eye from 3. Very difficult matchup. You can see why he's the leading scorer in the conference.
Bilbao again, we've seen that before, haven't we?
And it starts with Neal's penetration, though. That dribble penetration collapses and breaks the integrity of the defense, and he delivers.
quiet right now. It has been an electric atmosphere here at the Henner Fieldhouse. Shot clock at 2. Ike throws it up, and that's another shot clock violation.
That was a very good defensive possession. You see Mark Byington trying to get something done defensively now. They're going to extend their defense. He's coaching them up. They're going to try to create some offense off of their defense, but more importantly, they want to slow down the attack. The last couple of possessions, UTA has been able to get the ball in the paint. So let's see what they drop to. If they drop to a man-to-man, which they do.
Hervey has been very quiet since re-entering the game. Hasn't even taken a shot. Neal looks up, shot clock at 9.
And they were running a switching man-to-man there. So now the chess match begins with the last 5 minutes of the game.
Ike Smith gets called for the hold on Bilbao. 2 fouls on Ike.
And that's appropriate because Bilbao has been a handful the last several possessions.
Jones back in along with Charles for UTA. Bilbao has 14 points. In fact, the Mavericks are dominating points in the paint, 32-16. Not a surprise. They're a bigger, stronger basketball team.
And we thought they needed to take advantage. We talked going back to the Scarborough schematics. That is something that I certainly wanted to underscore, and they have done exactly what they needed to do.
That rattles home. 16 points for Bilbao. His season high is 17. So he's closing in on that season high.
He averages 9 a game, so it's not like he doesn't score points. He has come up big for him for the UTA here down the stretch.
Gladden, good passing there in the corner. Bilbao, boy, he had a body on one side, the ball on the other. Big physical player, built like a tight end. Backing in the paint. He's really a hard guy to handle.
He really is. Especially Georgia Southern really doesn't have anybody of his size.
Charles, 0 for 5 first half, 2 for 2 second half from behind the arc. 72-65, largest lead of the night for UTA.
And what confidence to run a pin down play. They ran those pin down screen for him to come off of that, and he was able to deliver. That's confidence from your coach.
We'll see if the Eagles have another run here at home, their final home game of the season. Inside, and Tim, they've dominated Bilbao. Georgia Southern has no one that can handle it.
And it starts with the dribble penetration on. Bilbao has been the recipient of passes, and they went to that zone. Bilbao was able to kind of post up in that high post area, and once he gets it that close, there's just really not a lot of resistance left in the program for Georgia Southern. They don't have those types of bodies inside, and Bilbao taking advantage.
Again, rebounding tonight, 32-20, a plus 12 advantage in rebounding for UTA. And look at those numbers for Jorge Bilbao. Big, tough kid. Again, you see the tape above his left eye, 5 stitches on Saturday. When you're young, you heal very quickly.
You do.
KT tape on the right shoulder.
High tolerance for pain, too.
Yeah.
You know, this full court pressure really bothered Georgia State on Saturday. They backed off this time, but this is what got them back in the game, and it's kind of what has built their lead here late in this one.
Allsmiller missed that one. In fact, the Eagles have come up cold from behind the arc, 0 for their last 4 from behind the stripe. Hervey has come back in, has not even attempted a shot here in the last 4 minutes or so.
They haven't needed him to, though. Bilbao has been the guy. He's getting the ball where he can score with it. This is one-on-one here. Let's see what he does.
Hervey says, why not? Oh, baby. That quiets the crowd. It's a 10-point lead, biggest of the night for the Mavericks.
And all of a sudden, UT-Arlington has bulged out to a 10-point lead. And again, that zone, they have been killing it.
up the shot.
Good closeouts, though.
Hughes that got batted away by Bilbao.
Wow, this is an unbelievable development. Georgia Southern couldn't be stopped for most of this game. Both coaches decided to deploy zones, and it's worked for Arlington, but it hasn't really worked for Georgia Southern. The Golden Eagles have not been able to get stops.
Inside to Bilbao, got his own rebound, just lowers the boom. There's Hervey.
It didn't hit. Yeah, they had to reset.
Shot clock violation. Good call. Hit the backboard, didn't hit the rim. They're going to go to the monitor and double check to make sure that did not hit the rim. The officials talking to the coaches for the Mavericks. We'll be right back after this. Shot did not hit the rim. Bilbao took 2 attempts, and it just touched the glass, and so will be Georgia Southern basketball. As we look at some numbers, now plus 16 in rebounds.
That's
and points in the paint. That's the story of the game, Tim.
It really is. The points in the paint in particular, but that rebound disparity, a lot of that is just shooting until they make it. Rebound after rebound on the offensive end, and they've stuck it back in the bucket. The three-point shooting has been scintillating, but for both teams. It's not just Georgia Southern, but Georgia Southern has gone cold the last part of this half, but they need to find the mark and find it fast because they're running out of time.
Well, the crowd now on their feet for the final 2:50 and counting, hoping for an Eagles rally. Senior night, final home game. Brown gets blocked by Bilbao and then fouled. Bilbao had the block and then just kind of ran him over.
Pretty good defense to hedge on that screen. Brown tried to step behind it and Bilbao blocked it. Take a look. This is him showing, and really he just didn't even get a chance to show because Brown pulled the trigger, but he blocked it, but he crashed into him. So Brown can now score with the clock stopped, and he'll have 3 key free throws here, though.
It's been a tough night for Tukey. Only 4 of 11 from the field, 0 for 3 from three-point range. Now has 10 points for the night. Still plenty of time.
Give me one big clap for Spirit Fingers information.
Yeah, there's a lot of basketball left to be played. Things have to start swinging the way of the home team right here.
So Tukey trying to make it 3 for 3. That would give him 12 points. Again, Ike Smith, 27 to lead the way for the Eagles.
Doug, this game has been tied 10 times and 16 lead changes. It's been a close game this whole time. But the last several possessions, Arlington has been able to pull away. Let's see if the Eagles can bounce back.
The Mavs will try to run some clock. Hervey, oh baby. That is ice. Back to a 10-point lead. That was with about 6 on the shot clock.
And I tell you what, you really don't have to run anything if you got a guy that can just stick one in a big moment like that. That's a huge shot.
Way outside, Hughes cannot get it to go. And Hervey, 25 points, ties a season high, and he sat out for almost 7 minutes in the second half. Rubbing that knee on the end of the bench, but he has come back and made 2 huge three-pointers.
He is a special player indeed. Got a rebound if you're Georgia Southern. Wow.
Bilbao back to the line now, will shoot 2.
And you said it, Doug, it's been the story of the game, the lack of rebounding, and right there, that was one they needed to corral. But nonetheless, they're at the mercy of Bilbao now from the free throw.
Bilbao missed that one wide right.
And Hervey here just stares the defender dead in the eye and says, you know what, Smith, if you can do it, I can do it too. Knockdown. Missed a couple. So they dodged the bullet there, but they're running out of clock. They need to score and score fast.
And the big man looked a little tired on that one.
He sure did.
Tukey breaks the defense down. Bilbao just wrangles that rebound with both mitts around it.
You know, Arlington has been talked about, but not as much as some of the other mid-majors in terms of building up an at-large resume. They have that one big win versus St. Mary's, number 12. But, you know, this looks like a tournament team to me, regardless of what happens in March. But, you know, this has been a one-bid league, and it's no guarantees. You don't know who's going to win that tournament down in New Orleans.
Another rebound on the offensive end for the Mavs. Hervey will just hold it. Under a minute to play now. And the foul on Smith will send Hervey to the line. Again, the Mavs looking to go 11-3 in the Sun Belt. That would give them a one-game lead over Arkansas State, who's idle watching tonight. The regular season champs, they get an NIT bid. That's locked down, but this team wants to go to the NCAA tournament.
Certainly, they have their sights on that.
And you're right, they are a talented bunch.
They are. I mean, I'm around the Conference USA. Middle Tennessee's a team that people talk about in terms of building a at-large resume in a one-bid league. And, you know, this team looks every bit as good as Middle Tennessee to me.
So they wiped off that last make. Hervey stepped over the line, they said. And he's all smiles. That would have tied his career high. As it is now, he's stuck on 26. Eagles need to make something happen fast. Tukey Brown knocks that one down. And a quick timeout by Mark Byington. First three-pointer of the night for Tukey.
And it's certainly not over. In fact, the exact opposite situation UTA was in on Saturday versus Georgia State. They were down by 7 around with a little bit more time than this, and they came back and won. So it can be done, but you have to have a lot of things go right if you're the Golden Eagles at this point, and it starts with that three-point shot right there. That's a big-time bucket.
Well, it has been a marvelous evening here at the Henner Fieldhouse. It started off with senior night. A couple of seniors said goodbye to the program. And then as you found out today, Tim, every athlete from every program here at Georgia Southern is here tonight.
Yeah,
which I found very, very interesting.
Kind of a promotional. The athletic director was telling me about that earlier today, where one game for each sport, they pick for the student body, the athletes in the program to come out, and this is the night. Tom Kleinlein, the athletic director, was talking to me during the shoot-around, and he mentioned, you know, we should have a very raucous crowd. We got the athletes coming, and they have really made this a great environment. But we'll see if they can cheer their team on the victory. They're up against it right now. Got to start fouling.
And a steal, Tukey.
Oh, he stepped out of bounds.
He stepped on the inline. Oh, baby.
They got exactly what they wanted. The trap. They lure you into the spider's den. They trap you and they make you throw a pass that they're waiting to intercept. That was great execution, but he stepped out of bounds. See if they can do it again. A triple team.
And
jump
ball. It will be UTA basketball. So some terrific defense in the last two.
They've made it tough.
Throw-ins by Georgia Southern.
That sense of urgency out of their full-court pressure has created some potential things, but they really couldn't cash in.
Mark Byington, he thought that Jones walked on that last inbounds pass. He said he changed his pivot foot. At this stage, you're trying for anything.
Yeah, he's not going to get that. Sorry.
Again, UT-Arlington, back-to-back 20-win seasons. First time in school history. And now, if they can hold on here, they will have a one-game lead with a week to go in the regular season. And our next game, Monday night, Sun Belt Conference. Georgia Southern travels to Little Rock, all right here on the American Sports Network, 9 o'clock Eastern time. That is a week from Monday. Check your local listings. Go to asn.net to find out. Neal on the breakaway, can't make it.
He smoked it. Time is running out. They need to score fast.
Opportunity, Ike, that gets blocked by Hervey. Blocked again by James inside. And now the foul will send Sean O'Connell to the line.
And if you're Neal, he did the right thing because he had a breakaway layup. But if you're going to shoot the ball that early, you have to make it. Now, of course, he wasn't trying to miss, but that is a big potential no-no. And now they commit the foul. But O'Connell doesn't cash in, but they had a chance to get points with the clock stop.
Bilbao checks back in for the Mavericks. O'Connell had an opportunity to make it a two-possession game, and this is both. And Tukey with a quick foul on Hervey. Hervey with an opportunity now for a career high if he can knock them both down. Currently has 26.
And there you see Coach Byington. He had his kids ready to play tonight, but they ran into a team that just wouldn't go away. And then that little run down the stretch where probably an improbable character, Bilbao, kind of took over that little stretch. And that they got out to a 10-point lead, and that kind of was the difference in this game right now. And obviously that rebound disparity certainly didn't help the Golden Eagles.
Well, that's a new career high for Kevin Hervey. Everybody in the Sun Belt knows how great a talent Hervey is.
Yeah, he's special.
I hope the country gets to know him because he is special. There's no question, Tim.
And that's the thing about leagues like this. There are special players that are hidden, and most of the country won't see them unless they make the NCAA tournament. Now Georgia Southern has all but given up on this one. A 10-point lead. This is a good road win for Arlington. This was not an easy place to come in. We talked about the 9 games in a row at home that Georgia Southern has won, but they were just outmatched tonight, especially down the stretch.
Well, Scott Cross pulled off the Georgia sweep in the Sun Belt. When you go to Georgia State, and then 2 days later go to Georgia Southern and earn back-to-back wins, that is saying something.
It's a pretty good trip. And again, that Georgia State game, they were down late. Georgia State had that game won. They were up 15 at one point in the second half. But this UTA team is relentless. They have who I think the best player in the league, and that kid right there, Hervey. And as a result, they had their chance to really do something special.
As you see Hervey walk off the floor, keep in mind 28 points, 13 rebounds, and set out for close to 7 minutes in the second half as he just kind of rubbed that sore knee.
And Doug, that was a pivotal moment. That's kind of when the lead started because Bilbao was in there doing work against that zone. But again, when you have a team as balanced as UT-Arlington and they sit at the top of this league at 11-3, 21 wins overall. Again, the second year in a row, they've won 20-plus games, and they have to be the favorite going into the conference tournament. But, we're a long way from them even winning this regular season. Arkansas State, who was idle tonight, breathing down their necks, They gave Georgia Southern a little distance by giving them this is the only matchup between these two teams. And for Georgia Southern, it doesn't get any easier. They finished the season with 3 road games. So that's why this was senior night. It's going to be a tough road for them. But again, a quality basketball game from start to finish. Georgia Southern was just a little bit outmatched down the stretch.
Well, the key statistic, plus 19 in rebounds for the Mavericks. 42-23. They dominated the glass on both ends.
Yeah, that's dominating. I mean, that's the word. And, you know, the points in the paint. And, again, give a lot of credit to Hervey. But Bilbao stepped up in a big moment when Hervey was on the bench. And then really, that proved to be the difference in this game. But a great game. It was fun.
Well, once again, our final score, 81-71. Our next Sun Belt Conference game on ASN next Monday night. Georgia Southern travels to Little Rock. For all the scores, highlights, and features, go to AmericanSportsNet.com. This has been a presentation of ASN, the American Sports Network, your teams, your passion, your network. For Timmy Scarborough and our entire ASN crew, I'm Doug Bell. We'll say so long from Statesboro, the Mavericks in first place in the Sun Belt.